Welcome to the Madison Miller Podcast. Today is Monday, November 1st, 2021. Today I'm going to recap the weekend's World Series games 3, 4, and 5. NFL Week 8, look ahead to tonight. College football, Week 9. NBA, NHL, Major League Soccer, golf, NASCAR news and notes, and my best bet of the day. All right, we'll start with the World Series as it's gotten a little interesting. Very interesting within the last 12 hours plus, or I should say less than 12 hours. Friday night, Braves over the Astros 2-0 as they took a 2-1 series lead. And then Saturday, Braves took Game 4, 3-2 to take a 3-1 series lead. And then last night, the Astros rebound, take a big win, 9-5 to force a Game 6 back in Houston. Game 3, Ian Anderson the win, Luis Garcia the loss, and Will Smith the save. Game 4, Tyler Matzik the win, Christian Javier the loss, Will Smith the save. And then last night, Jose Urquidy the win, AJ Minter the loss. And the funny thing is that you would have thought the Braves were going to win this game right off the bat, as Adam Duvall had a huge grand slam, but that wasn't meant to be, as the Astros put up a whopping 9 runs and get out of their little lull here. And the night before that, on Mischief night, Astros were up 2-0, and the Braves came back in the 7th inning with the tying and go-ahead home runs. In the previous inning, Austin Riley hit an RBI single. So, an interesting series. Game 6 Tuesday. We'll preview and pick it on tomorrow's podcast for sure. Now we'll do NFL from yesterday. I will go over the scores, and I will look ahead to tonight's showdown. Panthers over the Falcons, 19-13. Panthers 4-4. Atlanta 3-4. Sam Darnold 13-24, 129 yards. And then he got injured in the game. PJ Walker didn't throw for any yards. He had one attempt. It was incomplete. And then he had one carry for -1 yards. And then Matt Ryan, 20 of 27, 146 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. Bills over the Dolphins, 26-11. Bills 5-2, Dolphins 1-7. Josh Allen, 29 of 42, 249 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Tua Tagovailoa, 21 of 39, 205 yards, and a pick. 49ers over the Bears, 33-22. 49ers 3-4, Bears 3-5. Jimmy Garoppolo, 17 of 28, 322 yards. Justin Fields, 19 of 27. 175 yards, a touchdown, the pick, and 10 carries, 103 yards, and a touchdown on the ground. Steelers over the Browns, 15-10. Steelers 4-3, Browns 4-4. Ben Roethlisberger, 22 of 34, 266 yards, and a touchdown. Baker Mayfield, 20 of 31, 225 yards. Eagles over the Lions, 44-6. Eagles 3-5, Detroit 0-8. Jalen Hurts, 9 of 14, 103 yards, and 7 for 71 on the ground. Jared Goff, 25 of 34, 222 yards. Titans over the Colts, 34-31 in overtime. Titans 6-2, Indy 3-5. Ryan Tannehill, 23 of 33, 265 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Carson Wentz, 27 of 51, 231 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. The Jets over the Bengals, 34-31. The Jets 2-5, the Bengals 5-3. Mike White filling in for the injured Zach Wilson, 37 of 45, 405 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Joe Burrow, 21 of 34, 259 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Rams over the Texans, 38-22. Rams 7-1, Texans 1-7. Matt Stafford, 21 of 32, 305 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Davis Mills, 29 of 38, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Patriots over the Chargers, 27-24. My only loss of the Fab Five this week in the NFL. New England 4-4. Los Angeles 4-3. Mac Jones, 18 of 35, 218 yards. Justin Herbert, 18 of 25, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Seahawks over the Jaguars, 31-7. Seahawks 3-5. Jacksonville 1-6. Geno Smith, 20 of 24, 195 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Trevor Lawrence, 32 of 54, 238 yards, a touchdown, and the pick. Broncos over the Washington Professional Football Team, 17-10. Broncos 4-4, Washington 2-6. So the Broncos losing streak comes to an end. Teddy Bridgewater, 19-26, 213 yards and a touchdown. Taylor Heineke, 24-39, 270 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Saints over the Buccaneers, 36-27. Saints 5-2. Tampa 6-2. Trevor Siemian, 16-29, 159 yards and a touchdown. As Jameis Winston was taken out of the game, looked like he had an ACL injury. 6 of 10, 56 yards and a touchdown pass. Meanwhile, Tom Brady, 28-40, 375 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 picks. Cowboys over the Vikings, 20-16. Cowboys 6-1. Miami 3-4. Cooper Rush, 24-40, 325 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. Kirk Cousins, 23-35, 184 yards, and a touchdown. All right, now we look ahead to tonight, 8:15, ESPN, Steve Levy, Brian Grease, and Ludus Riddick on the call. It's the Giants and it's the Chiefs from Arrowhead Stadium. My projection is the Chiefs by 10.5, total 50-75. Meanwhile, it's 10.5 and 52.5. I have no choice but to take the under. Do I like the play? No, because I think that this game has a lot of potential. But the case for the under is that the Giants are still missing Saquon Barkley and Kenny Golladay. And the Chiefs' offense has been a little lifeless the past couple weeks. So that's where the under comes into play here. In terms of a final score, 31-21 means under. I like that score a lot. I'm going to say the Giants are competitive in the game. Chiefs score a late field goal to put it away. And the Giants will show a good effort here. That's my prediction. It's a 10-point game. A 10-point win for Kansas City. 31-21, 30-20 maybe. Which would be a good call, too. I like the 30-20 call better, to be honest. So, for the podcast pick is the under. And then second pick, gunpoint, even though it's the same number projected. Oh, wait a second. I did not account for Saquon and Golladay in terms of injuries. So, this is going to 12. But I still think it's going to be a close game. And I completely forgot about that. And then Kadarius Toney's back for the Giants, too. So, that's some good news there. So I'm going to say like a 10-point Chiefs win. Podcast play, slight under. Second play, a slight lean to the Chiefs, but I don't feel strong about that call. All right, now we'll move on to college football from the weekend as we will go over the results from the weekend slate. We will begin with Friday night. Navy over Tulsa 2017. Navy 2-6, Tulsa 3-5. Nevada over UNLV 51-20. Nevada 6-2, UNLV 0-8. Saturday, number 2 Cincinnati over Tulane 31-12. Cincinnati 8-0, Tulane 1-7. Number 8 Michigan State over number 6 Michigan 37-33. Michigan State 8-0, Michigan 7-1. Wisconsin over number 9 Iowa 27-7. Wisconsin 5-3, Iowa 6-2. Number 16 Baylor over Texas 31-24. Baylor 7-1, Texas 4-4. Miami over number 17 Pitt 38-34. Miami 4-4, Pitt 6-2. Virginia Tech over Georgia Tech 26-17. Virginia Tech 4-4, Georgia Tech 3-5. Rutgers over Illinois 20-14. Rutgers 4-4, Illinois 3-6. Liberty over UMass 62-17. Liberty 7-2. UMass 1-7. UCF over Temple 49-7. So the moneyline pick was awful this week. That was probably my worst call of the year. UCF 5-3. Temple 3-5. Bowling Green over Buffalo 56-44. Buffalo drops to 4-5. Bowling Green's 3-6. Louisiana over Texas State 49-zip. Louisiana 7-1. Texas State 2-6. West Virginia upsets number 22 Iowa State 38-31. WVU is 4-4. Iowa State is 5-3. North Texas over Rice 30-24 in overtime. North Texas 2-6. Rice 3-5. Missouri over Vandy 37-28. Missouri 4-4. Vandy 2-7. Washington State over Arizona State 34-21. Wazoo 5-4. Arizona State 5-3. Utah State over Hawaii 51-31. Utah State 6-2. Hawaii 4-5. Number 1 Georgia over Florida 34-7. Georgia 8-0. Florida 4-4. Number 4 Oklahoma over Texas Tech 52-21. Oklahoma 9-0. Texas Tech 5-4. Number 7 Oregon over Colorado 52-29. Oregon 7-1. Colorado 2-6. Marshall over FIU 38-0. Marshall 5-3. FIU 1-7. Old Dominion over Louisiana Tech 23-20. Old Dominion 2-6. Louisiana Tech 2-6. Middle Tennessee over Southern Miss 35-10. Middle Tennessee 4-4. Southern Miss 1-7. Clemson over Florida State 30-20. Clemson 5-3. Florida State 3-5. Syracuse over Boston College 21-6. Syracuse 5-4. BC 4-4. Minnesota over Northwestern 41-14. Minnesota 6-2. Northwestern 3-5. Purdue over Nebraska 28-23. I thought about this one for the money line, but I stayed away. Should have went there. Purdue 5-3. Nebraska 3-6. Kansas State over TCU 31-12. Kansas State 5-3. TCU 3-5. App State over UL Monroe 59-28. App State 6-2. UL Monroe 4-4. Number 13 Wake Forest over Duke 45-7. Wake 8-0. Duke 3-5. Western Kentucky over Charlotte 45-13. Western Kentucky 4-4. Charlotte 4-4. San Jose State over Wyoming 27-21. San Jose State 5-4. Wyoming 4-4. South Alabama over Arkansas State 31-13. South Alabama 5-3. Arkansas State 1-7. FAU over UTEP 28-25. FAU 5-3. UTEP 6-2. Georgia State over Georgia Southern 21-14. State 4-4. Southern 2-6. Number 18 Auburn over number 10 Ole Miss 31-20. Auburn 6-2. Ole Miss 6-2. Mississippi State upsets number 12 Kentucky 31-17. Mississippi State 5-3. Kentucky 6-2. Number 15 Oklahoma State over Kansas 55-3. Oklahoma State 7-1. Kansas 1-7. Houston over number 19 SMU 44-37. Houston 7-1. SMU 7-1. Cal over Oregon State 39-25. Cal 3-5. Oregon State 5-3. USC over Arizona 41-34. USC 4-4. Arizona 0-8. Boise State over Colorado State 28-19. Boise 4-4. Colorado State 3-5. Number 5 Ohio State over number 20 Penn State 33-24. Ohio State 7-1. Penn State 5-3. Number 11 Notre Dame over North Carolina 44-34. Notre Dame 7-1. UNC 4-4. NC State over Louisville 28-13. NC State 6-2. Louisville 4-4. Utah over UCLA 44-24. Utah 5-3. UCLA 5-4. Number 25 BYU over Virginia 66-49. BYU 7-2. UVA 6-3. Fresno State over number 21 San Diego State 30-20. Fresno 7-2. San Diego State 7-1. And Washington over Stanford 20-13. Washington 4-4 and Stanford 3-5. Okay, now we'll move on to the NBA from the weekend, and we will look ahead to tonight's games. I'm going to be quick with the weekend results. Friday night, Raptors over the Magic 110-109. Nets over the Pacers 105-98. Heat over the Hornets 114-99. Kings over the Pelicans 113-109. Nuggets over the Mavericks 106-75. Blazers over the Clippers 111-92. Lakers over the Cavs 113-101. Saturday, Wizards over the Celtics 115-112 in double overtime. Pistons over the Magic 110-103. Knicks over the Pelicans 123-117. Raptors over the Pacers 97-94. 76ers over the Hawks 122-94. Bulls over the Jazz 107-99. Heat over the Grizzlies 129-103. Spurs over the Bucks 102-93. Warriors over the Thunder, 103-82. Nuggets over the Timberwolves, 93-91. And the Suns over the Cavaliers, 101-92. And yesterday, the Mavs over the Kings, 105-99. Hornets over the Blazers, 125-113. Jazz over the Bucks, 107-95. Nets over the Pistons, 117-91. And the Lakers over the Rockets, 95-85. All right, now we look ahead to tonight. There's 9 games. Tonight we'll start 7 o'clock. The Cavaliers and the Hornets. I project the Hornets by 7, total 220.4. Meanwhile, it is 5.5 and 222.5. I'm going to take the under in this game. And it's just above what I would call a slight edge. It's a nice edge on the under. Spurs, Pacers. I project... Ooh. I need to redo this line. Pacers by 3.25, total 218.35. I don't know why the line is like that. But here we are. And it is Indiana by 3.5, total 218.5. So talk about as close can get. I'm going to take... Oof. So you got a quarter. It's like the slightest edge. So I have a quarter edge on the Spurs and 1/5 of an edge on the under. So I guess, excuse me, we'll go with the Spurs getting the 3 in the hook. All right, next up is the Trailblazers and the Sixers. I project the Sixers by 1 3/4, total 219.45. Now it's 6 and 220.5. That's way too high. I'm taking the Blazers. And I think they're live here, plus 210, but I don't know if they'll actually win because I project Philly as the slightest of favorites. 7:30, Wizards Hawks. I project the Hawks by 4 3/4, total 216.6. Meanwhile, it is 5 and 221. Under. Bulls Celtics. I project the Celtics by 1 1/4, total 218.8. Meanwhile, it is 2 and 217.5. I'm gonna go with the over, believe it or not. Slight over. Toronto Knicks. I project the Knicks by 9 3/4, total 215.1. Meanwhile, 6.5 and 211. Nice edge on the Knicks. Nice edge on the over. Where do I go? I like the over. I think the Knicks will continue to hit the 3-pointers and they'll win at home. 8 o'clock, Nuggets Grizzlies. I project the Nuggets by 2.5, total 213.65. Meanwhile, it is Memphis by 2, total 215.5. I'm taking Denver plus a 2 and plus 110 straight up. Magic Timberwolves. I project the Timberwolves by 9.5, total 210.45. Meanwhile, it is 9.5 and 217. I'm taking the under. And last but not least, the Thunder and the Clippers at 10:30. I project the Clippers by 6.5, total 208.25. Meanwhile, it's 11 and 212.5. I'm taking the Thunder, getting the big number. Clippers are still missing some players, so give me the Thunder getting the 11. I think Shai Gilgeous-Alexander against his former team is going to have a big day. All right, now we'll move on to the NHL, where we will recap the games from the weekend, and we will look ahead to tonight. So we will begin, of course, with Friday night. Panthers over the Red Wings, 3-2 in overtime on a game winner by Alexander Barkov. Rangers over the Blue Jackets, 4-0. Caps over the Coyotes, 2-0. Hurricanes over the Blackhawks, 6-3. Golden Knights over the Ducks, 5-4 in a shootout. And the Senators over the Stars, 4-1. Saturday, Predators over the Islanders, 3-2 in a shootout. Kings over the Canadiens, 5-2. Bruins over the Panthers, 3-2 in a shootout. Maple Leafs over the Red Wings, 5-4. Devils over the Penguins, 4-2. Sharks over the Jets 2-1 in overtime on a game winner by Timo Meyer. Blues over the Blackhawks 1-0. Avalanche over the Wild 4-1. Flames over the Flyers 4-0. And the Oilers over the Canucks 2-1. Sunday, Hurricanes over the Coyotes 2-1. Ducks over the Canadiens 4-2. Kings over the Sabres 3-2. Blue Jackets over the Devils 4-3 in a shootout. And the Rangers over the Kraken 3-1. All right, now we look ahead to tonight. Only 3 games, amazingly enough. 7 o'clock, the Capitals and the Lightning. The Lightning are -146. The Caps are +120. Over under 6. Over is -104. Under is -118. Caps +1F is -205. Lightning -1F is +164. I'm taking the Capitals as a road dog here. I think they can get it done. And they've yet to lose in regulation. 8 o'clock, the Sens and the Blackhawks. The Blackhawks are -130. The Ottawa Senators are +108. Over under 6. Over is -112. Under is -108. Ottawa +1F is -235. Blackhawks -1F is +186. I'm going with Ottawa +108 to win straight up. At 9:30, the Kraken and the Oilers. The Oilers are -235. The Kraken +190. Over under 6.5. Over is -106. Under is -115. Kraken +1F is -120. Oilers -1F is -102. I'm going to go lay the puck line with the Oilers. -1F at -102. Kraken on the second of the back-to-back. This could be determined on an empty net goal. So give me Oilers -1F at -102. All right, now we move on to Major League Soccer from the weekend. Saturday, NYCFC over Miami 3-1. San Jose over Salt Lake 4-3. Red Bulls over Club Football Montreal 1-0. Atlanta and Toronto 1-1 draw. Columbus over DC United 3-1. Dallas over Austin 2-1. Sunday, Halloween, Minnesota over Kansas City 2-1. Colorado over Houston 1-0. Orlando and Nashville 1-1 draw. And Philly over Cincinnati 2-0. One game tonight, 10 o'clock, Seattle and the LA Galaxy. Should be a fun game between these two clubs. So Seattle at home is -145. The Galaxy is +330, and the draw is +280. Seattle is just really, really good. I'm going to lay to -145 with the Sounders at home against the Galaxy. All right, now I will go to golf and go over the results from the Bermuda Championship. This wasn't like a big tournament. There wasn't many big stars in this one, and I felt that it was a opportunity for one of the lower level golfers to break through and win this tournament. So, without further ado, here we go. The winner of the Bermuda Championship was Lucas Herbert with 15 under. Tied for second at 14 under, Danny Lee and Patrick Reed. Fourth with 13 under, Patrick Rogers. Tied for fifth with 12 under, Scott Stallings and Taylor Pendrith. Tied for seventh with 11 under, J.J. Spawn, Vincent Whaley, Peter Monlotti, Curtis Thompson, and Davis Riley. Tied for 12th with 10 under, Russell Knox, Brian Gay, Seamus Power, Green McDowell, and Alex Smalley. Tied for 17th with 9 under, Patrick Flavin, Chad Ramey, and Justin Lauer. Tied for 20th with 8 under, Jonathan Bird and Stefan Jager. Tied for 22nd with 7 under, Mark Hubbard, Chase Seifert, Dylan Fratelli, Grayson Sigg, Austin Ickroat, Sean O'Hare, Thomas Detry, and Adam Sevenson. Tied for 30th with 6 under, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Sang-Yul No, and Kramer Heacock. Oh, and Mito Pereira, which was my pick. Tied for 34th with 5 under, Camilo Vegas, Peter Yulin, Garrick Higo, David Skins, and Brandon Wu. Tied for 39th with 4 under, Scott Brown, Dylan McCarthy, Kadrick Abernhardt, Ben Coles, I'm just going to go through notables now because of time. Tied for 46 with 3. Oh, Adam Hadwin was in this tied for 3 under for 46th place. Adam Hadwin, Lucas Donald, tied for 51st with 2 under, Sepp Straka, Ben Martin. And some notables cut. Bo Hogg, Cam Percy, Vincent Taylor, among those cut. And then the next tournament is the OHL Classic from El Camaleon Golf Club in Mexico from the 4th to the 7th. So we'll obviously preview and make a pick on the podcast for that tournament. All right, now move on to NASCAR. From the weekend, all 3 leagues raced. We'll start with the Truck Series results from Martinsville. And your winner, Zane Smith. 2nd, Austin Hill. 3rd, Tanner Gray. 4th, Chandler Smith. 5th, Matt Crafton. 6th, Parker Kligerman. 7th, Ben Rhodes. 8th, Taylor Gray. 9th, Sheldon Creed. 10th, Timmy Hill. 11th, Corey Heim. 12th, Carson Hosfar. 13th, Chris Wright. 14th, Danny Bone. 15th, Spencer Boyd. 16th, Chris Hacker. 17th, Thor Friesen. 18th, Tate Fogelman. 19th, Haley Deegan. 20th, Austin Wayne Svelth. The rest: Grant Effinger, Brett Holmes, Dawson Cram, Derek Krause, Todd Gilliland, Tyler Ankrum, Jack Wood, Josh Berry, Spencer Davis, Jesse Awuji, Johnny Sauter, Sage Cram, Ryan Sherks, Josh Rume, Roger Roos, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Corey Roper, Colby Howard, John Hunter Nemechek, and Chase Purdy. And now we'll go to the Xfinity results from Martinsville. And your winner for this race, Noah Gragson. Coming in 2nd, Austin Cindric. 3rd, Daniel Hemrick. 4th, Sam Meyer. 5th, Justin Alger. 6th, Brandon Jones. 7th, AJ Allmendinger. 8th, Alex Labb. 9th, Jeremy Clements. 10th, Riley Herbst. The rest: Josh Williams, Landon Castle, Matt Snyder, Colin Garrett, Joe Graff Jr., J.J. Yaley, Jade Buford, Preston Pardis, Brett Moffitt, Harrison Burton, Stephen Licht, Jeffrey Earnhardt, Ryan Ellis, David Starr, Natalie Decker, Anna Corey, Ogata, Ty Gibbs, Josh Berry, Matt Mills, Spencer Boyd, Ryan Sieg, Ryan Vargas, Jason Haley. That was my pick. Kyle Weatherman, Bailey Curry, Brendan Brown, Jeb Burton, Michael Lynette, Marty Carmen, and Tommy Joe Martins. All right, now we'll go to the Cup Series results from Martinsville. And your winner in the Xfinity 500, Alex Bowman. 2nd, Kyle Busch. 3rd, Brad Keselowski. 4th, Martin Truex Jr. 5th, William Byron. 6th, Eric Almirola. 7th was my pick of Kurt Busch. 8th, Eric Jones. 9th, Chris Buescher. 10th, Joey Logano. The rest: Ryan Blaney, Kevin Harvick, Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Matt DiBenedetto, Chase Elliott, Chris Bell, Tyler Reddick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Anthony Alfredo, Corey LaJoie, Chase Briscoe, Cole Custer, Denny Hamlin, Bubba Wallace, Michael McDowell, Ross Chaston, Daniel Suarez, BJ McLeod, Cody Ware, Justin Haley, Ryan Newman, Garrett Smith, and Quinn Half, Josh Bleeky, Ryan Priest, Timmy Hill, and Joey Gase. Alrighty. Now we'll move on to news and notes. There's something absolutely major coming down right now from the Twitter pipelines from the one and only Adam Schefter, is that Derrick Henry has potentially suffered a season-ending foot injury, as Henry's undergoing an MRI today to determine the full extent to the damage. He was just amazing these last couple weeks on this Tennessee winning streak, leading them to the big wins over the Bills and the Chiefs, and then yesterday against the Colts. But if they lose him, they are cooked, because he is the most valuable non-quarterback player in the league this season. I mean, McCaffrey's right there too, because that team fell apart after he got hurt. So just unfortunate. Hopefully, it's not season ending in that he'll be back, because that Titans team is fun to watch. And I mean, they're still going to be okay, like a decent team without Henry, but they're not a Super Bowl contender without Henry. But that's just awful, and let's hope that he will be okay. So, Jameis Winston suffered an ACL injury yesterday in the team's win over the Bucs, as Trevor Siemian came in. But people are reporting that they won't pursue Cam Newton, or no plans at this time to add a free agent quarterback. So, we'll see how that goes, because they have Taysom Hill coming back, and then Trevor Siemian played and actually was competent in that game. Teams are eyeing Xavier Howard prior to tomorrow's trade deadline. And some other trade rumor talk. Teams are eyeing Fletcher Cox in the trade, which would help somebody's pass rush. Like Arizona, that would be a great ad for them, because obviously the loss of J.J. Watt, they need to go out and acquire somebody on that pass rush to replace his production. And Tennessee now has to go and get a running back, at least a serviceable one, that could replace some of what Derrick Henry's done. So, we'll do NFL trade deadline on tomorrow's show, because tomorrow's the deadline, and we have a show tomorrow before the deadline. So, obviously, I am going to talk about that. And then the Texans want to build around Brandon Cooks, which is the dumbest thing I've heard in a long time. Build around Brandon Cooks? He's a veteran wide receiver that's been traded every year. Like, come on. And another big name that could be traded is Von Miller. That's someone else that Arizona should be eyeing to replace J.J. Watt if he were to be moved. But I don't think he'll be moved. And two other wide receivers on the trade block, Devontae Parker and Darius Slayton. Parker is because the Dolphins are terrible. It's Slayton is because, A, the Giants are terrible, and B, they have depth at that position now. And with the emergence of Kadarius Toney, Slayton has become expandable. We talked about Saquon and Kenny Golladay missing tonight's game. CeeDee Lamb fined nearly 47 grand this whole season, which is absolutely crazy for a variety of reasons. Calvin Ridley stepping away from football to focus on his mental well-being. So that is a big loss for the Falcons offense. And obviously, we'll keep an eye on the Derrick Henry stuff, as that's what I started news and notes with. Dak Prescott did not play last night, as we talked about. Jameis has an ACL injury. Sam Darnold had a concussion. He'll probably be back next week, because we've seen quarterbacks have a concussion and come back. Daniel Jones, albeit not look great, and Teddy Bridgewater too. And Teddy Bridgewater really hasn't recovered from it. Like Daniel Jones, it took 2 weeks, and Broncos haven't been the same since Teddy Bridgewater got concussed. A couple big injuries. Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray has an ankle sprain. And it could be a 1 to 3 week type of injury, but could play if the swelling goes down. Trayvon Diggs has an ankle sprain. That is a big loss for the Cowboys defense. Gronk got hurt again, back spasms. And Jack Conklin left the game against the Steelers with an elbow injury. That was a big loss for the Browns. Some college football news. Drake London out for the year with a fractured ankle. That's a big loss for USC's offense. Gary Patterson out at TCU as they mutually agreed to part ways. And Jerry Kill to serve as interim coach. That is a surprising news for TCU in season. The new AP poll is out. And every Monday on the show, I like to go over it. Georgia, Cincinnati, Alabama, Oklahoma, Michigan State, Ohio State, Oregon, Notre Dame, Michigan, Wake, Oklahoma State, Auburn, Texas A&M, Baylor, Ole Miss, UTSA, BYU, Kentucky, Iowa, Houston, Coastal Carolina, Penn State, SMU, Louisiana Lafayette, and Fresno State. And the playoff rankings, if I'm not mistaken, debut tomorrow. So if that's the case, we will predict the playoff rankings on the show tomorrow. So looks like Jack Eichel's closer to getting dealt. If the Flames and the Golden Knights are finalists, I think it's going to be Vegas. They tend to make splash moves. They're off to a sluggish start. I could see it being Vegas. Freddie Freeman says that Ron Washington deserves to become the Oakland Athletics next manager. I think Ron Washington does deserve another chance. He took the Rangers to a World Series, and he really has become an outstanding assistant coach, per se, over the last 5-6 years since he left the Rangers. The Charlotte Hornets offer Miles Bridges a baseline extension offer for 4 years, $60 million. I think the way he's played this year, he's worth more than that. And some other news, non-sports related, Alec Baldwin publicly speaks out for the first time since the deadly shooting. And he says that she was my friend. He feels very sick. Like I said, how can you not feel sick? And Alec Baldwin, I just feel really bad. I mean, how can you not? And then White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, or Sakai, tests positive for COVID. So that's some politics-related news right there. And then obviously tomorrow's Election Day. And obviously New Jersey gubernatorial, New York mayoral, I should say city mayoral, and then Virginia gubernatorial as well. We'll cover New Jersey gubernatorial on the show, New York mayoral on the show too, and then a little bit of Virginia too, but the main focus is for tomorrow for Election Day, be NJ gubernatorial and New York City mayoral. Okay, last but not least, my best bet of the day, brought to you by FanDuel. This is a tough one. I have a lot of options. I'm going to look to the NBA. And one that I really, really liked was Portland getting the 5. It's down to 5 now. I'm going to lay 1 unit on the Blazers plus the 5 in Philly against the 76ers is my best bet of the day. It went down from 6 to 5, but I still like it at 5. All right, so that's it for today's show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything from tonight and looking ahead to tomorrow. We'll cover Election Day a little bit and college football playoff rankings. So tomorrow's going to be a big Tuesday show with a lot of activities. And Dancing with the Stars too. So news and notes and best bet as well. Hope you guys have a great day, everyone.